Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Reggie. I am currently an independent postdoc at the Heidelberg Institute for Theoretical Studies, but I am actually on the job market, and I am interested in anything and everything to do with binary and multiple summation, how it messes up disks, and accretion bursts. But in this poster, I am presenting some work I did recently, looking at how we can make fast rotators through binary star formation. So fast rotators are these stars that have rotation periods of less than 2 days, and a lot of them are found to be in binaries. So I did some simulations looking at clouds collapsing and disk fragmentation, and I could track the spin of the primary stars. And from the simulations, I saw that some simulations had a spin up of almost 20% and some as low as 5%. So when I looked at the two cases, I tried to figure out what was happening. In the strong case, I have a disk with really strong gravitational instability that triggers a spin-up event, dumps a lot of high angular momentum material onto the primary star, but a companion forms from that GI within a few tens of AU. But then I could have weaker spin-up events, which also were caused by gravitational instability, but that was due to flybys. But I go into a lot more detail, but it seems like binary star formation likes to dump high angular momentum onto primary stars. So come check out my poster at P2.
Does anybody know where the presenter, the slide changer is?
Hi everyone, my name is Juanita Antilén. I'm a PhD student at UCL working under the supervision of Professor Paola Pinilla. Well, my poster number 4, is about the study of the degree of dust settling and vertical turbulence in this system, MY loop. This system, this disk is highly inclined and it has been observed by ALMA and SPIR. What I do is that I model the dust component in this disk, and I use radiative transfer modeling in order to constrain the alpha turbulent viscosity parameter. If you have questions, I'm very happy to answer.
Hi everyone, I'm Javiera. I'm a PhD student in the University of Leeds working with Catherine Walsh. In my poster, I talk about recent JWST observations of a disk around very low mass stars that reveal an inner disk hydrocarbon rich. So in our research, we use chemical models to quantify the C/O ratio variations that could explain or could be mimicking different scenarios that could enhance the hydrocarbon abundance in these sources. So yeah, one of the potential scenarios that we are considering is the episodic accretion that could release carbon into the gas phase before all the observations. So if you are interested in anything related with this, my poster is the number 14, is in the corner. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Diaz, and I am a researcher from James Group. I am working in this project called EPDNet, Estimation of Structural Parameters of Protoplanetary Disks using deep learning. The goal of this project is to estimate 5 key properties of protoplanetary disks that describe their density structure using a convolutional neural networks instead of a slower method like Markov-Chain Monte Carlo or MCMC. These parameters are the mass of the disk, the characteristic radius, surface density gradient, height at 100 AU, and Frerin index. For this, we train a network with a database of simulate interferometric observation using a process of 3 steps. And they are the RAMCCD, SimObserve, and the clean instruction from Casa software to obtain a grid UV plane, where this grid UV plane will be input to the network. This network was tested in a simulate data and in a real interferometric observation from the Lucas Ciesa paper, and the results are very interesting. So if you want to more about my project, you can see or you can visit my poster, the poster 21, and talk with me. Thank you.
Morning all, I am Valentin Le Golec, a postdoc at NASA Ames. This is poster 22, so in this poster I'm showing new near-spec, Keck near-spec observation of class 0 protostars that you can see here on the left. This is kind of the first observation of these very young protostars. And they seem to be very active. A lot of emission, H2, H1, a lot of also CO overtone emission. And we compare this with the more evolved class 1 protostars and figured out that these youngest protostars much accrete more vigorously than the more evolved counterpart. You will see also in this poster modeling attempt of the CO and also James Webb near-spec follow-up observation of some of these class zeros. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Curtis DeWitt at Space Science Institute. I brought a 6-micron spectrum of one of the favorite sources of this conference, V883 Ori, and also one of V1057 SIG. 6 microns is right in the heart of the water bending mode. It's been observed on Spitzer at R of 150, but with XEs on Sophia, we were able to resolve it at R of 14,000, about 3 times higher than what James Webb would be able to do in an equivalent source. Findings are that the line widths and the temperatures that we see are consistent with it coming from continuum out as far as 1 or 2 AU. So there is water abundant and an absorption at that radius. And we start to see dust mixing effects that start to reduce the depth of the strongest lines, particularly from those larger radii. So please take a closer look. It's poster, I think, 23.
Yeah, hi, I'm Verena Wolf. I'm a postdoc from the Thüringen Landessternwarte in Tautenburg, so Thüringen State Observatory in Tautenburg. And I brought 2 posters because one is not enough. And so the first one is an overview poster, and this is about accretion bursts in massive star formation. And as we heard yesterday, we only have 7 examples, the 6 on the poster and the one I missed. I have a collection of observations from the X-ray to the radio, but not in the optical because these are really deeply embedded. There are light echoes, thermal afterglows, ejection bursts, and maser observations. And I want to highlight the thermal afterglow observations in the infrared because this is the emission that comes from the heated dust. And if you want to measure the burst energy, this is the best tracer. However, in my poster tracer here, I put a completely different observation. And these are the position of the methanol maser spots. And it's one of my favorite observations, not my own. You can see it before the burst in gray. And these class 2 methanol masers are excited under certain conditions. And when the disk heats up because of the burst, then the conditions change. And these spots are no longer excited there, but new ones are excited further out. So basically what you can see is how the heat wave passes through the disks. And I think this is really exciting. So if you want to learn more, you can come to the poster. And I also have a second poster. This is on one particular outburst. We used the infrared data from VVV and SOFIA to constrain the burst energetics. And this was the most energetic observed. It lasted about 8 years. And what I show here in this figure is an outcome of the simulations I do. So I do time-dependent rotative transfer simulations. basically, I look at the thermal emission of the dust and how it heats up. And this is the flux density in color as a function of wavelength. So from the hottest dust in the near infrared to the coldest in the far infrared. And it shows the time span when the burst starts up to a few years after its end. And what you can see is that the flux density increases over the whole infrared wavelength range. And you can further see that the time scales depend on the wavelength. Yeah, and this is basically what I use in my models. And if you want to learn more or want to ask me any question, you can come anytime. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Hi, everybody. I'll be presenting this burst for Lynn, and then I'll show my poster after this. But I talked in my talk about this viscous disk model that we've been using. So we decided that a good application of it would be to actually provide some bolometric corrections for FU-ORI objects. So the idea is, we have these light curves of the objects, but a lot of the system parameters are not very well known. But maybe you can try to estimate how much an object accretes over the course of its burst by kind of integrating the light curve. But you need the total accretion luminosity to do that. And again, the accretion luminosity depends on a bunch of parameters you may not know. But what we're providing here is a start by giving we have a sort of fiducial SED that we started based on the model of FU-ORI itself. And then we compute bolometric corrections based on that SED for several hopefully useful bands, including 2-mass. So if you have any JHK data, you're probably calibrated to the 2-mass filter, so you can use your bolometric corrections there. We also have a couple of upcoming surveys, Roman and Rubin, that we provide. And then we have Gaia, in case that's useful to people, ZTF for anyone who works with that data, and WISE, of course. And we will be publishing those soon. I got a very chill referee report on Monday about it, so hopefully that'll be out very soon as I get a minute to respond to that. But yeah, so check out the poster. I'm happy to talk about applications of this. Hopefully it'll see some use when Ruben turns on, or for the folks working with Gaia stuff. Okay. And then here's the something that I sort of teased near the end of my talk, which was the first ever detection of FUV, sensitive detection of FUV emission from the FU-ORI system. So we find for the first time a continuum excess in FU-ORI itself, where you can see that it exceeds our viscous disk model by a factor of something like 10 to the 4 by the time you get to 1300 angstroms. And we find that previous models are not capable of predicting this, like any of the boundary layer models don't produce anything like this. So we find that it's likeliest explained by some kind of a shock that comes from the surface accretion layer in the disk, where that meets the actual star and produces this 16,000 Kelvin emission with a very small filling factor. And I'm presenting that. We also find that the FUV luminosity in the system is about 100 times brighter than in CTTSs, so you do see enrichment in the FUV during the outburst. That's consistent also with the factor of 10 increase in the X-ray that's been demonstrated before. So the radiation doesn't just get generally brighter because it gets hotter, you also get harder radiation like FUV and X-ray that's in excess of whatever the disk is experiencing in the CTTS state. And on the right, I'm showing the UV spectrum of FU-ORI south, which is the primary of the system. It's buried behind some amount of material that surrounds FU-ORI north, so we don't really understand the extinction law to it. So what we do find is that the FUV and NUV spectra are consistent with those of BP tau, which is a similar spectral type CTTS. So qualitatively, you can identify a bunch of lines that look about the same. The issue is, and it shows the carbon-2 semi-forbidden feature at 23, 25 angstroms, which is diagnostic tracer of accretion. But the issue is when we actually try to measure the accretion luminosities from these lines, we get absurd numbers and numbers that are factors of 10 to 50 in excess of what was found in the near IR for bracket gamma and Paschen beta. So check these out, and they're also in press. This is presented in a letter that came out earlier this week, and this is a note.
Okay, thanks to all the in-person participants. We're now going to change to the remote participation. And let's hope that it works. We should see people here and simultaneously the poster. Ah, no, there's one contribution that's missing from in-person. Jura Borisova. Okay, so then we'll skip. We'll continue with remote participation. Maria, are you there? Maria's not online, so we're also going to skip that. Brings us closer to lunch. She's? Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good afternoon. My name is Belén Plane from Argentina. And today I invite you to check out my poster titled Coagulation in Protoplanetary Disks, Insight from Computational Simulations. Well, our research focuses on a study collision between granular aggregates of various size, shapes, and porosity made up of individual grains. Using molecular dynamics, we analyze the interaction among hundreds of thousands of grains in a dust population. We employ a complex model that considers repulsive, adhesive, and frictional forces to improve our understanding in a microscale. Our findings reveal that coagulation is influenced not only by impact velocity, but also by factors like mass ratio, porosity, and monomer size. What is interesting to mention is that we observe that aggregates can grow at collision velocity of several meters per second in some cases. So I encourage you to explore our research further, and here is my email. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Thank you very much and enjoy the workshop.
Thank you, Maria. Next contribution. I think it's another Maria Ronco.
Here, do you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, hi all. I'm Paula Ronco. I'm a CONICET researcher at the University of La Plata. This is a work that we are studying the existence of the radius valley for different stellar types. You know that the radius valley is one of the most important observational features that we got from the Kepler mission, which basically separates planets into sizes, super Earths and mini Neptunes. And a few years ago, we could explain the location of the valley for planets around solar mass stars as a natural consequence of trying to reconcile disk evolution, planet formation, planet evolution models. And what we did here basically was to expand this work to other stellar types because observations also show that the valley seems to change position with stellar mass. So with the new and improved simulations, we got very nice results, as you can see in the bottom plot, that match pretty well with observations and that show that the radius valley is pretty clear among stars with masses greater than 0.67 solar masses, but shades towards M dwarfs. And that's a consequence basically of planet migration. But if we look at mean density instead of radius versus mass planet, we also show that the density valley is pretty clear and exists for all stellar masses. That is separating basically rocky from water-rich planets. And that is the main takeaway. So thank you very much. The poster is number 2, and it's in the Slack. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Next, Chunyan. Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Shuyan Mao. I'm currently a postdoc at the Los Alamos National Lab working with Hui Li. And I focus on machine learning for fluid dynamics problems in planet formation. So the problem is that the disk-planet interaction in protoplanet disks can be modeled by hydrodynamic simulations, which solves a set of PDEs. And the challenge is that such simulations are super expensive and that we cannot solve a lot of PDEs to get many simulations. So in my project, I use machine learning to substitute these expensive simulations I built two machine learning tools. The first one is called the P21. It's for fast PD solutions. So that given any PD parameters on the left as the inputs, we can produce the surface density and the velocity distribution, and we can produce 100 disks per second on GPUs. And also the code is open source. And the second tool is this two planet is a machine tool for parameter inference. It's like we give this map of this surface density or the velocity distribution, and the tool can infer the PD parameters on the left. And it takes 3 minutes per case, and it can give the accuracy of 1% of the PD parameter estimates. And also the code will be online soon, and the paper is accepted to APG and will appear on arXiv this Friday. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next we have Octavio. Are you there?
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hello, I am Octavio Vilera. I am researcher from CONICET at the Astrophysical Institute of La Plata in Argentina. My poster is about recent work that we published with Joel Sandor, Geoffrey Galli, and Vlad Lira, where we study the planetesimal and planet formation in traction pressure pumps. In this work, we are proposing a new mechanism to form planetesimal in an extended region of the protoplanetary disk, because previous works that include dust growth and evolution models shows that the formation of planetesimal by the streaming instability can occur just in preferential locations and in very narrow positions in the protoplanetary disk. So in this work, we include a dust and evolution model based in the two-pump model by Bernstein 2012, and include pebble accretion, planet formation, planet migration, and the opening in the gas, the opening of a gap in the gas by the planet. We model the pressure bump, considering transitions in the viscosity due to the MRI instability. We show that for low values of the ratio between the two viscosity in the dead zone and the active zone, we can form a pressure bump that at some point in the evolution of the disk, this pressure bump disappears. So in the right panel, you can see that at the beginning of the simulation, the dust is efficiently trapped in the pressure maximum, and planetesimal can form there, and an embryo also can form. And this pressure bump not only traps very efficiently the dust, it also acts as a planet migration trap. So the planet stay there in the pressure bumps and accrete very efficiently the pebbles and the planetesimal. But at some point when the pressure maximum vanish, the planet starts to migrate inward, and it is massive enough to open a pressure gap, and the pebbles are trapped at the outer edge of these pressure bumps. And as the planet migrates inward, the conditions for the streaming instability are fulfilled, and planetesimal can form in a very extended region of the planetary disk. And you have there the link to the paper. Thank you.
Thank you. Jose?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hey everyone, my name is Jose, and here I present this work where the objective of this work is reproduce this characteristic observed in the star formation region, where we use a planetal code with solved and non-isothermal accretion disks, and with photoevaporation, we performing an population synthesis with 10,000 star disk system, and you can see the initial condition at the left. The important, two important initial condition is that we proposed, and and correlation between the alpha parameter with the stellar mass. And also we use an star formation rate in our population, and at the right we can see the result, and we can see the effects of the star formation rate for the mass accretion rate as function of the disk mass, and in the middle panel the result of the mass accretion rate as function of the stellar mass without a stellar formation rate and using stellar formation rate. And the last panel is the effect of the stellar formation rate in the fraction of the star with this compared with fit of fraction of this observed. And the general conclusion is that the stellar formation rate is important to reproduce the strong correlation between the mass accretion rate and the stellar mass, the correlation with the mass accretion rate and the disk of the planet, and important to reproduce the fraction of the star with this. That is all. For more information, please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we come to Kim.
Hey, do you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Hi, I'm Kim, a postdoctoral fellow at University of Geneva, and in my poster you will discover the first ever magnetic field analysis of an XOR-type star, targeting the prototype EX looping. We used 3 different spectroparametric time series created at CFHT over 2 epochs, 2016 and 2019, and at 2 optical wavelengths, in optical using espadon and in near-infrared using SPIR. This magnetic analysis was done simultaneously with an accretion characterization and revealed one of the most stable processes ever observed, which is quite incredible. And this process is driven by the stronger dipolar magnetic field ever observed on classical Littoral star. If you're interested, go to see the poster. The paper is in press and available on arXiv, and I will be happy to answer to any question. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think next Myra.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I am Mayra Osorio from the Institute of Astrophysics Andalusia, Spain. I invite you to see my poster, which is number R9. In this poster, I present several examples of outbursts at different wavelengths. All the examples correspond to the very young stars in Orion. Some of the images has already been presented here these days. As can be seen, there are bursts detected from near-infrared to centimeter wavelengths. The Hawks 383 burst is detected in the far infrared with Herschel and Sophia Observatory, as can be seen in the images in the red box, while the Hawks 363 burst is detected even in the submillimeter range, as indicated in the blue box. These images suggest that the variability in the luminosity possibly produced by episodic accretion may lead to changes in the emission from dusty environments around young stellar objects. These changes can occur at the submillimeter wavelengths, as shown in the case of Hawks 363. Finally, the green box shows a couple of examples of variability in the centimeter region, indicated by sudden peaks in the SEDs obtained from data taken at different epochs. This variability is probably due to no thermal emission, such as synchrotron emission, indicative magnetic activity very close to the stellar surface. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, hello. Yes, my name is Swiki, and I'm currently a PhD student at Concoy Observatory. And the idea of this work was to model disks with different parameters, model their chemistry and molecular line emission from them, to see before, during, and after the outburst, to see if we can, by looking at this emission, tell if the disk had an outburst before. For that, we chose 8 molecules and 1 line per molecule, and searched for traces in the form of a line pair that have on these flux diagrams on the left of the slide, a significant difference between pre and post outburst fluxes. For those line pairs that were deemed traces, we formulated a criteria of what disk needs to satisfy to be a post-outburst disk. Then we also analyzed the efficiency of these traces, the longevity, explained the chemistry behind it, and lastly, we applied this to observations. And on the right, there is an example for 2 traces on CO isotopologues with some observations of currently quiescent disks, and we actually find that some of the objects are inside post-flow area and thus possible disks with previous FURI outbursts. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, I think this was the last one, so let's thank all the presenters again, and we will be back at 2.
We're shifting everything.